Be honest with me for a second. How many times have you said, I will finally do scary action XYZ when I feel better, when I have healed more, once I have meditated on the perfect outcome, once these or that circumstances, are solved? And you think it's going to be in 1 week or 1 month, and then 1 month goes by and you still haven't done it, and 1 year later, you're still in the same boat. Let's do some EFT tapping to break the vicious cycle of always feeling that we're not ready, that our vibe is not high enough yet, and that we will start, in the future, because that keeps the belief alive that I'm too broken now to successfully start what I want to do, and that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even though I know what I need to do, but I keep believing that it would be better to start at a different moment. And that moment still hasn't come. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And even though I always say that once my vibe is better, or once my life circumstances are better, I will start. And I haven't. And it feels like the goalpost is always moving forward. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And whatever pattern is happening now. Deep down, I'm terrified of taking this action. Deep down, I'm afraid of failure. So I'm trying to control and optimize all of the variables. Because if all of the variables are optimized, then the outcome will be better. And then I won't have to face potential failure. And I cannot take failure. It would shatter me. It would confirm that my dreams are not available to me. It would make me feel hopeless and helpless. That no matter what I do or try, it doesn't work. I'm terrified of taking action and things not working out. Again, I'm not sure I can handle yet another disappointment. So I've been planning, preparing, and healing. I've been saying, once I'm over this block or that fear, I'll do it. But if I'm being honest, the time never comes. And the goal keeps moving in the future. Part of me knows that waiting to be ready is a sophisticated way of staying right here where it's safer. I'm making up a bunch of excuses why I shouldn't go for it. Because it's better to not do something and not get something than fully commit and potentially fail. But I'm also realizing it doesn't feel good to stay stuck. It doesn't feel good to wish that someday I will feel better. It quietly increases anxiety, shame, and fear. Because fear doesn't dissipate with time, it incubates and it grows. And by waiting and waiting, I'm telling myself, you're too broken, you're not ready. And that is fertile soil for more fear. I'm using the I need a better vibe or more skills as a way to never find out if it potentially won't work. My nervous system thought it's safer to do nothing and feel like a failure than try and not succeed immediately. Part of me thinks that staying still is staying safe. But staying still is slowly eroding my confidence. It's placing my dreams further and further away. And with each day that things don't move, I feel worse, not better. So I'm choosing to think differently now. I'm choosing to clear some misunderstandings. Confidence doesn't only come from success. Confidence comes from motion. Confidence comes through action. Because instead of being defensive and helpless, I am offensive and going for it. And that immediately shifts my vibe, regardless of the outcome. When I just finally take action, I also show the mini version of me that I believe in him or her. I show myself that my dreams matter. I show myself I am worthy enough to take action and try and learn. Done is way better than perfectly still. Even if I do or try something and it doesn't work, the energy of movement will make me feel so much better. Waiting to feel better before action is not alignment. It's just feeding old, limiting beliefs that keep me stuck. If I already knew that it was going to work out, what would I do? I would take action. So I need to act and think like someone who knows it's going to be okay, rather than act and think like someone who's scared. That's when the universe brings more success to you. When you act like someone who believes it's possible. And I trust that any movement, even tiny movement, breaks the old vicious cycle. Mini me will know that I'm always there for them. And I will be surprised at how much confidence I get just from that. Failing in life is never daring to try. And I break that cycle now. Okay, take a deep breath in, breathe out. A very long time ago, I was sensationally procrastinating for a launch. I was terrified that it would flop. I had had 2 or 3 flop launches in the 9 months prior to that. And it wasn't technically as flopped as I thought it was, but for my unrealistically high standard, they were flopped. And it completely eroded my confidence. It put me in this deep, dark cave of no matter how hard I try, no matter how perfect my strategy is, nothing ever works for me. And basically, I was so scared of making a move because if you do and it fails again, it's just additional evidence that nothing will ever work for you. So I stayed stuck like that for a solid 9 months. And then I did this very powerful journaling exercise where I had a conversation with younger me. And I asked her how she felt about me procrastinating and not launching and not putting myself out there. And she said, I thought you believed in me. I have so much genius and so many brilliant ideas that I want to share with the world. And instead of encouraging me, you keep telling me that I'm worthless and that I'm not worth pursuing my dreams. And that was the biggest heartbreak. I realized in that moment that I was abandoning myself, because you cannot stop other people from abandoning you, but you can not abandon yourself. And self-abandonment is the highest level of emotional pain once we become aware of it. So at that moment, I decided that the procrastination was over, that I would take any type of action towards a launch to show my younger self that she was worth me taking action. And it was so interesting because I did a launch. It absolutely did not go as planned. And I did not get the expected dread and a deep sense of failure. The exact opposite happens, and I felt so relieved and happy that I had honored my promise to my younger self. And all of that energy that just flowed into me also gave me a bunch of ideas. I could learn, from what hadn't worked then. I realized that I was aiming way too low because my confidence had been eroded. So I was kind of, staying small. And the next launch 2 months later, I went really big and it actually worked brilliantly. So I really want to emphasize how just movement and action alone, regardless of the result, is going to make you feel so much better. And it's not the lies that your mind are telling you that it's going to make you feel worse if it doesn't work out. Nothing feels worse than not moving. So I hope that this helped, and I'll see you in the next video.